Hey, welcome back to another Fetta Facts. I want to share with you something on paying off debt. If you have consumer debt, I know this is not everybody, but it is almost everybody. I want to share with you something that's a methodology and a mindset that I use that probably will help you as well, so stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to another Fetta Facts. This is Jerry Fetta, CEO of Philanthro Wealth. So this is all facts, no opinions. This is about real financial facts and truths that you can use and apply in your life, right? So I want to talk about consumer debt because I saw a report recently. The credit card debt has peaked once again in our country, and borrowing money is like this almost way of life here, especially in the US. And I think this is one of those things that really hinders people. So the average person that I talk to that's not almost an accredited investor or already an accredited investor, the reason they're not there usually is two reasons: their income and their debt, right? And I would say the third is also they don't save money. So it's basically the triangle of wealth, right? Earn, save, invest, right? But the thing that I run into with those that are paying off debt, and I had a call with someone last night and he's like, look, I have done the debt snowball thing where I take all the money I have and I line my debts up and I throw everything I can throw at the debt, and I then pay it all off, but I always end up in the same spot, which is an emergency comes up. Okay, give me a like if you've had this. The emergency comes up, you're making progress, the car breaks, the refrigerator breaks, the AC breaks, you have a health thing happen, whatever it might be, and all of a sudden you're borrowing money again. And you're set back, you're taking 2 steps backward now. And it's like, okay, all of the progress you just made has been undone. I used to experience this, and it's one of the most frustrating things ever. Next, I don't want to interrupt you too long. I just want to give you a free offer for my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. If you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get the book now. I'm going to let you get back to the video. Okay? And here is what I changed on this is we've talked about the sacred account before, right? The sacred account, this is a specially designed form of whole life insurance. And what I have here is, if we look at this, I have my cash value and then I have my debts themselves. And so most people take money, they take their cash, their dollars, and they go dollars directly to debt. And what happens is the debt is gone, and so then is the money, and now they're broke again. And the reason they were in debt in the first place is because they were broke in the first place. So if you don't solve the condition of I'm broke and I don't have money, you continually cause the thing that makes you go into debt. Does that make sense? So if I didn't have money and had to borrow, and then I'm like, okay, to get rid of this debt, I'm going to get rid of all of my money to pay it off so I don't have debt anymore. But now I once again don't have money, so I'm in a position again where if anything happens, I'm once again going to have to borrow. And they just repeat that cycle over and over and over and over and over. What does Einstein call it when you do the same thing over and over and expect a new result? Insanity. Okay, that's insanity. That's insane. You're insane if you're doing that. Stop doing that. It doesn't make sense. And the reason why is we don't live on a financial statement. We don't live lives on budgets and financial statements. We live lives in the real world, right? So when I look at the methodology of I want to put all the money towards the debt, I'm only looking at it from a mathematical standpoint. You're not a calculator. Your life is not a calculator. You're a living, breathing person with a family and needs and problems and goals and all of these different things that a calculator doesn't experience. So you can't just be, oh, this is mathematic. No, it's emotional, it's behavioral, it's situational. Like there's so many things that you encounter that putting something into a calculator doesn't factor for, right? It's kind of like taking a science experiment and like doing it in a lab where there's no variables. And then you bring it out of the lab and you try and use it in real life and it doesn't work anymore because there's variables in real life that don't happen in a laboratory. If it doesn't work in real life, it doesn't work. Okay? So for me, this didn't work. So what I started doing instead is I didn't do this whole dollars directly to debt where I get rid of all of my money in the course of getting rid of all of the debt. And guys, if you were to let's take this as an example. Say you have termites in your house. Okay? And you're like, okay, I'm going to get rid of the termites. It's like your debt. Now, I'm going to take all of the wood in my house that's not ridden with termites, and I'm going to offer it to them to lure them off of the wood that they're eating. It's a brilliant plan. They're not going to want the wood anymore because I've got new fresh wood. So they're going to leave the wood alone and they'll stop damaging that wood. and I'll get rid of the termites off of that wood. But then you don't realize you also just sacrificed the rest of your house. You don't have a house anymore. You might have got rid of the termites off of those boards, but they're on all the other ones now. That's the same thing. I have debt and it's eating away at my income. So the way I'm going to get rid of the debt is I'm going to take all of my income that the debt isn't eating and give it to the debt to then free up the income that it is eating, not realizing that now you have nothing. Okay? It's illogical. So instead, what I do here is I take the money, I put it into the life insurance policy and the cash value. Okay? On the debts, I pay only the minimums. Minimums only towards the debts. Okay? All of my surplus cash goes into my life insurance policy. Right? It's going to grow at a 3 to 5% return on average, tax-free, guaranteed against loss, protected from creditors, lawsuits. There's no volatility there. There's a death benefit. I can borrow against it. Here's the beauty. I borrow against the cash value when I've got enough to pay off a debt in full. Okay, so these are called financial affluences. When I'm tracking my savings balances, when I have, boom, I've got a bunch of money saved that I didn't have before. I put it in the cash value. It's growing at 3 to 5%. I use that to pay off the debt. The debt's gone. The cash value still grows. I still have all the money I started with. I'm not broke. It's there. What I used to pay towards that debt as a minimum, I pay back into my loan. And I continue putting all of my surplus into this. Okay, now I want to talk about like the math on this obviously is great because it solves the problem of like, why was I in debt in the first place? I didn't have money. So I'm solving that. At the end of the story, when I'm out of debt, I will have money. I won't go back into debt. I also have my own banking system now. So there's no reason for me to borrow on the credit card or the car loan or whatever ever again. Okay, I love that. Now, here's what happens though in the meantime is I'm only paying the minimums on the debt. And those of you that are like, but the math, you're paying interest. You already were. You should have thought about that before you borrowed. You're already in. There's no reason for you to sacrifice the entirety of your house to get the termites off the few boards that they're on. Leave your house intact, please. You still need a roof over your head at the end of the story. Hey, what's up? Jerry here. I just wanted to give you another reminder. Grab my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom. It's going to be one of the best books you have ever read on finance. I can promise you that. You're going to love it. It's also a free offer. So if you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get that now. Okay? Now, when I'm only paying the minimums towards the debt, I'm building up savings in my cash value. If something were to happen, I can use those savings and not be going back into debt. You see what I just did there? I bought that chunk of money there, that time, that space, that ability to say, hey, the refrigerator broke. I don't need to charge the credit card because I've been putting all my surplus in my cash value, and I'm going to then fix the refrigerator with that. Because it was in my cash value, all the money is still there growing. So it's even better because in real life, if I used cash, that cash is gone. I will never see it again. I traded it for a refrigerator. I didn't trade this for a refrigerator. It's still there working for me. It's still there growing in my cash value. Okay, so I'm giving myself the cushion that if something does come up, I can use my cash value to handle it. I don't lose the money. It keeps growing. I can still replenish it and then build it back up to still ultimately handle the debt. Right? And so it's about maintaining, you're doing your minimum payments on those debts, paying them down, and then you get a chunk and you've got this built up in your cash value and you're like, boom, let me pay it off now. It's paid off. Let me repay myself with the loan, with the money I used to pay on that debt that's freed up, right? And you continue doing this, and rather than being constantly broke, you're going in intervals. You're building up a reserve, and you're good while that's there, and then you wipe it out, you pay off the debt. You're lessening the amount of time you're exposed to unplanned financial risk, right? And then once you're out of debt, all of your cash value still grows. All of the money is still there. You just build it back up, and it's like, if I took 50 grand collectively and I paid off all the credit cards, the car loans and everything, at the end of that, if I don't use this system, I am out 50 grand and all of the money that the 50 grand could have turned into in the future. If I use this, I'm not out 50 grand. My 50 grand is still growing. I replenish it. I now have 50,000 plus all of the interest it's been earning at the end. And I can use that now for investing or making those larger purchases in my life, the things that typically are looked at as unforeseeable, like just out of reach, I can never get there because of my debt. Okay, so if you change your financial picture to this, what you'll find is you're in a lot better control of your finances. You've got less accidents and problems. Okay, you've got less things that can hold you back. If something does come up, you've got reserves. If something doesn't come up and you use it for the debt, that's great. The debt's gone. You still have the money growing for you. Okay, but I want to really encourage you on this to look at this method. If you've been watching my content and you have credit cards, car loans, student loans, tax debt, it doesn't matter. You can even do this with your mortgage if you wanted to. Like I've talked with people before where their risk tolerance and their investing personality and knowledge is so low that they're like, I don't want to get into anything. I don't want to do real estate. I don't want to do the market. I don't want to. Good. Use this to pay off your house. Make the mortgage payment back into your policy. Have the cash value growing the whole time. Like this is something that gives you many different options to pivot with. If you're more aggressive like I am, you handle your debt, you finance a couple of cool cars with it, you start investing in real estate, you grow your business with it. Like I use these for everything I do in my life, right? But it takes understanding it. Preceding understanding it is knowing that it's an option. So that's my intention with sharing this video today is there's a lot of people that have debt who are going to either always struggle with it and never break that cycle, or they're going to rip down the whole house to handle the termites on a few boards. And I'm telling you, this is a way to keep the house intact, still get rid of those termites, and at the end, you've got everything you started with and more. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has been valuable. This has been Fetta Facts this week. All facts, no opinions. Thanks for watching. Comment below with any questions. I'll see you next time. Hey, this is Jerry Fetta here. I want to thank you for watching my video, watching my content. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to learn more about the blueprint to financial freedom and how you can achieve passive income that exceeds your savings, your expenses, your taxes, your generosity, and build wealth like the top 1%, I want to encourage you, grab a copy of my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. You can go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, or you can click the link in the description of the video here. The copy is free. You cover your shipping. We'll send the book out to you, and we'll send you an email with a bunch of great bonus material also for free. Get the book, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on my next content.